I'm an only child. Had a great childhood. I have two amazing parents that gave me everything I needed.
I thought I could fly when I was young. I mean, we were poor, but it was so much love that we didn't really notice.
We grew up in an environment where you never really knew what was going to happen, and that creates a lot of uncertainty.
Compared to previous generations, okay, we might be a bit skint, we might not be able to afford the best pair of shoes, but we're not living in poverty.
We make plenty of money. Like, we make plenty of money. It's not like we won the lottery and moved into a big fancy neighborhood.
My integrity is what I have. You know, a long time ago, people's word and integrity meant a lot.
I grew up happy in the Appalachian Mountains. We had good Christmases. We had love. I was normal. But now, what the hell am I now?
Can you hear me?
No challenge is more urgent. We can either settle for a country where a shrinking number of people do really well, while a growing number barely get by. Or we can restore an economy where everyone gets a fair shot, and everyone does their fair share, and everyone plays by the same set of rules.
These United States are confronted with an economic affliction of great proportions. It is time to reawaken this industrial giant, to get government back within its means, and to lighten our punitive tax burden. On these principles, there will be no compromise.
Can you tell us what's happening? Are you going back to work or not?
All-out war by the council workers.
It felt that whatever the government tried to do, it wasn't necessarily making things better, it might be making things worse. I did think that the free market would produce the resources that could make everybody better off.
The argument was that if you did these things, we will get rid of unemployment, there'll be more investment, there'll be more income, that will trickle down.
Hey, 5/8 for 100,000 ton water.
Without big rewards, people like me are not going to work 15 to 20 hours a day in order to get rich.
In graduate school, my doctoral years, I was told psychologists 5 to 10 years into practicing, on average, were making $100,000 a year, and I was like, that sounds awful. And that was like kind of like my incentive to be like the top 1%. I'm not in the top 1% in terms of the world. It's maybe in just the psychology world.
I choose this. I choose to drive. I could take a train directly into the city. I just feel like that's one extra time that I could get sick, being in an enclosed area with lots of strange, in the public. It's like I can't afford to be sick at this point in my career. Every day counts while I'm trying to save for this house. Got 10 minutes to make it to work with coffee in hand. Usually here 5 minutes to 11. And turn on the lights here, sit down, and I go bang, 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 one session after the next. It's nonstop. It's not like I can't leave this little box of an office. I don't have anyone to talk to. Like, I never need to leave the building other than to get lunch, which I pray to do every once in a while, to get to sit alone at a counter at a diner across the street. And that, to me, reading the New York Post, is heaven.
chicken wing roll. My day starts on Sunday and doesn't end until the following Friday.
Here you go.
Because once Monday hit, I'm up every day, just like this. Chicken fried hot wings. Need hot wings, please? It's a constant battle. Everything creates a little bit of stress. I'm gonna tell y'all one more time. Don't come in that door no more. Shut the door! When I get in real stress mode, I might smoke about 4 or 5 cigarettes. I don't know. But you can't drink on your job. Because if that was the case, I'd have a flask at work. We have potato wedges or green beans or sweet loose corn or macaroni and cheese.
Oh, Lordy. Okay, there's something you said.
Sweet loose corn, macaroni and cheese, potato wedges, or green beans.
Okay. And what else got was mashed potatoes?
Look! Can you make up your mind what you want? I'm trying to help you. You know, I'm on this end now. Help me, please. We doing okay? Okay, I know the little slight interruptions. I know y'all bleep them out if you can.
In Sunderland, over 1 in 4 men are unemployed. The further 600 sackings were announced last week.
Income differences started widening rapidly from the mid-80s onwards. The weaker trade unions are, the more inequality there is. It's a very striking relationship.
The government's getting inflation down, interest rates down, reforming trade union law, cutting regulations and moving restrictions.
The balance of power between employers and employees shifted in favour of employers. I think that happened, and I think it was a deliberate result of policy.
Los timbres bien pegados.
He'll be in bed when I go to work in the morning. Then he'll probably be in bed when I come in from work at night. And if he's not, I'll not be. If he's up, I'll be going straight to bed anyway. Oh, it's a shame for the kids. They might still be in bed when I go to work. And then when I come home, they're back to bed. And I know it just bores the life out of them because they can't do much. Within the home care sector, 0 hours are just the way it works. You just don't know what might happen from week to week, day to day. Piranha porridge, don't eat it just yet. Like, cool down, will you?
You understand, that's lovely, thank you.
You're right there.
And we have your tablet.
Yeah.
The way services are commissioned out, people are seen as units for sale, sold to the lowest bidder. Half an hour to get somebody up, get them washed, get them dressed, give them the meds, and have a meaningful conversation. It doesn't work.
How long have you got for this one?
I'm going to be 25 minutes in here as a kid. People look on you, oh, is that all you do? No, it's not all I do. I'm not just a carer, I'm a carer. You!
We had went to where my husband was from, and we had decided we were, gonna have our own business and everything. And that was, where we started. So we bought a video store. When Walmart got in the video business, it really just killed it for the mom and pop stores, We didn't have the volume of what Walmart would have. So after 5 years, we ended up closing it. I was in the Walmart one day, and they had a sign, they were hiring, and I thought, well, I'll go put an application in. And when they called, I was really surprised, and I was even more surprised how good of a company it was to work for. Any extra effort you put forth, they appreciated it until the changes came. The focus of the company went to cutting operational expenses. Less people to do the work, but yet the same amount of work.
You have to get to work soon. Oh, I don't even know what time it is. Oh, 2 o'clock, and I think I go at 4 today. No, at 3:30. Today's the 4th.
You see, every day you're like, what time do I go to work? Don't you think that is just nerve-wracking?
I don't know my nose.
And I'm not the only one. I've talked to people across the country, and they do the same thing. They're just like, what time do I go to work tomorrow? You would not believe how much stress that puts in your life.
We are living through a moment of absolutely astonishing transformation. All of you know that the information and technology explosion will offer to you and to the young people of the future more opportunities and challenges than any generations of Americans has ever seen.
It's a stock market boom not seen since the heady years of the 1980s. The Dow Jones Index up by almost a quarter in just 12 months, with record profits and million-dollar bonuses appearing in paychecks once again.
What's really changed is that if you were once the CEO of a company, your company served a local market. Now most markets that are important are global in scope. If you're the CEO of Apple Computer and you make the company 3% more efficient than it would have been, you've added $1.2 billion to the company's bottom line. Your economic value has just grown explosively.
We're really pleased to report that this quarter we earned $106 million.
Bill Gates of Microsoft is now worth $29 billion, up $10 billion. Gordon Moore of Intel Computers, $6.7 billion, up $3 billion. And Bill Hewlett of Hewlett-Packard, a personal fortune of $4 billion, up $1 billion, all in just 6 months.
If you end up at the top of this process, then you do have a justification for what's happening to you. The market is an efficient way of allocating resources. It must show that I'm hardworking and clever and, in quotes, deserve what I'm getting.
Very few people have the mental resources, the energy. I mean, look at me. Here I am. I'm creating an African art collection. I'm creating companies. My youngest child is 3. I'm 70 years old. I have 4 children, 13 and below. So what does that say about me? I mean, I'm out there creating.
There are a lot of things that perpetuate inequality. Economic systems, governments, policy. One of the things, I would argue, is also psychology. How people think, the kinds of things that they value. Inequality is rising, but people aren't aware of what they're doing to contribute to that.
Most of the gated communities are either on a golf course or are golf course adjacent. Some of the amenities are really great, really great. But for some people, really it is about living behind a gate. Well, I live behind a gate and you do not live behind a gate. And look at how much better it is that I live behind a gate.
Honey.
We didn't buy this house to one-up our friends who didn't buy a house behind the gate, but we had a lot of friends that really thought we did. In general, everyone pretty much keeps to themselves.
Do you want the bananas for your hamburger sandwich?
No.
We don't know anything about our neighbors, i.e. nothing.
I found another hamburger.
One of the things that for a couple of our neighbors has really bent them out of shape is that we haven't hired a gardener. So this neighbor comes out and stares at me, visibly pregnant, raking leaves, is just staring. And he yells from across the street, "You know, only poor people rake their own leaves."
People have always been kind of obsessed with wanting things. The car they drive, the clothes they wear. The same way you want to leave your house looking good because people judge you on what you look like or what you're wearing.
In this industry, when you're working with high-profile executives, athletes, and entertainers, they expect a certain presentation style. So I have to keep up a certain image in their eyes so that they respect me and value my opinion. So, you know, I definitely let my wife help me sometimes with the styles, brand names, and stuff like that, but she seems to be very good at getting me dressed for success. But I'm a big believer in that. If you dress well every day, you actually feel like you're more powerful and you feel like you're more successful, and sometimes you can like dress your way to success in essence. I've seen people get out of depression just by just looking good.
If you look like the guy that's got it all, you become the guy that's got it all.
Fake it till you make it.
New York is booming, with conspicuous consumption very much back in fashion. The luxury car dealerships can hardly remember a time like it.
Do you believe that an individual can earn too much money?
What, you mean that we should sort of cap someone's income? Not really, no. Why? What's the point?
What we know has happened is that people at the top of the income ladder have gotten all the income gains that have occurred during the last 30 years. People in the middle of the income distribution, they've run down their savings, they've run up much more debt. Every conceivable margin you can work just to hold your place in the queue.
Government figures released today show a record number of people are insolvent.
If you don't pay or contact us within 7 days, our collections team may arrange for an agent to contact you and visit your home. The letter's dated the 1st, and it's the 9th today. And when does it going to come? Within 7 days. Stress, you get on the phone to them.
It's November.
And it's
Is that how much you owe?
Yeah. My catalogue bill is between £3,500–4,000, but then I use that for stuff that, you know, when the kids need new coats, new shoes, I've got no money left. I've got to get it from somewhere. Everything's so much more expensive. And Lucy now, she wants a computer, and you feel as though you have to do those things for them because their friends are getting them, and they're going to look like the odd one out if they don't get them. Have a cuddle too. Night, darling.
People went from pretty simple financial lives pre-1980 to the point now where people are just totally submerged in their financial accounts, and they're all in debt.
Debt to us might seem, oh, you know, I need this loan to go to school, or I need this loan to buy a house. But to Wall Street, it's just a product that they can buy and sell and package. And so it's just another way for them to get as much profit as they want, and they treat it as such, and they treat it like a game.
Hello? I'm at work right now. Can I call you later? But I did make the payment on the 3rd. All right, 554. Thank you, man. All right, you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Already, 3rd quarter.
That's crazy. Man, people been giving y'all dollars all weekend, man.
I owe a couple of debt companies now, and the only thing I can do is they gotta wait in line. I had to pay for 2 weeks, and then pay half of the rent, and pay the late fee on that, and just juggle. I gladly pay you Tuesday for a cheeseburger today. You know, but that's the way it is, man.
There once was a feller, his pals called him Joe, who said of his bills, there's too much we owe. We just need a loan that will last till payday. So they logged on to DollarsDirect.ca. DollarsDirect.ca is fast and convenient. Just be 18 years or older, have regular employment, and direct deposit. DollarsDirect.ca. Apply and get cash the same day.
One of the things that I'm going to talk about a little bit today is how to create a more secure America by achieving the goal of 5.5 million new minority homeowners. We certainly don't want there to be a fine print preventing people from owning their home.
Once Wall Street figured out that they could create these mortgage products, they were like, wow, this is the deal of the century. We need to make more of these.
The house is always the big one. It's the way that the economy is set up. When you buy a house, housing values tend to go up, and so it's a major component of your retirement. And so losing your house, you can find yourself in a position where instead of being able to retire, you're just going to have to continue working. When you go to buy a house, you're really making a bet with hundreds of thousands of dollars that this place is going to hold its value and that everything is going to work out.
Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Karen Hober.
Hi, I'm Jen.
I'm the owner of Rancho Marietta Homes and Land Real Estate. It's a pleasure. Glad you made it. This is listed at $429,900, and it's on a 0.25 of an acre, quarter-acre lot. Now I have to show you how fantastic these cabinets are. They're the full extension cabinets, all wood, and the self-close.
With the damper.
And all the houses have a different character and a different style, especially that one.
That's a nice looking house.
Isn't that one pretty, the Mediterranean? So this is absolutely one of the best streets in Rancho Marietta.
It's nice and
It's
quiet.
completely quiet. You'll never really see anybody going by but the people that live here. And the most expensive homes in the neighborhood are down the street and on the lake.
Okay.
Well, come on in. Let's see what you think.
You are just precious.
Message skipped. Next message. Message skipped. Next message. That's on. I love you, Daddy. I will. Say goodnight. I like you too. Sweet dreams. You want to say night to Daddy? I love you too. I love you, babe.
I would love to see more of Alden. I always say I wish I had a husband that worked a 9-to-5 job, you know, where we were able to come home together at night and take care of the kids together, but I know that's not reality, and I know he's providing a lifestyle for us that without him working as hard, we couldn't have.
We know that financial distress is one of the main factors that sends people to see marriage counselors. People in the middle are trying to make ends meet and in the process and experiencing an enormous amount of additional stress in their lives.
It's time for bed, little calf, little calf. What happened today that made you laugh?
Hey, all right, give Mommy a kissy. After a week, I'm exhausted. I work all day, and then I come home to 2 kids to feed and bathe and read to, and kind of make up for all the hours that I wasn't home during the day.
I love you. Night-night.
That's awful. I feel tremendous guilt. not being able to see the girls and put them to bed, and it's very frustrating when the girls are more used to her than me.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm exhausted.
How's your day?
That's all right. It was fine.
You was there?
Yeah. Can't
I
complain.
thought it was awesome.
Oh, God.
The government had been collecting data that showed there had been these huge class differences in life expectancy, and people didn't really believe the data. Even people working in important positions in the health service didn't know whether death rates were highest at the top or the bottom.
From cocaine to ketamine to capitalistic principle, I try to put my smile back on his face, but I couldn't get it, so I say a tearful goodbye to all but one of my principles and start conversing with the flow that led me to this slippy road. I wasn't always this way. I guess it started on the day they called the curtains on her casket and she flew away and left me here grounded, cuddling on the truest pain. My biggest ambition in life is try to get through a day. My mum was 36 when she died. If I keep drinking, that's me. Imagine that, being dead at 36, fuck's sake. All of the things that I need to do to try and lengthen my life, which is already cut short because I was born in Pollock. If I make it to 70, I'll be lucky, and that's if I eat salad every day.
Now, of course, because of a growing body of research, people know that unemployment and poverty have health consequences. Instead of the former idea that it was businessman stress that led to the worst health problems.
A lot of health problems, everything from high blood pressure to AIDS to hepatitis and all different kinds of diseases around here. Any day above ground is a good day. That's what I've been told. Actually, it's what I know. You know, if you can live to see it. My daughter's father passed on the 23rd of last year. So that kind of hurt me a little bit. Back to being a single mother. He died of liver cancer. Yeah, it was really sad. But it's a good thing. You know, I know he in a better place. He suffered for a while, quite some time. Yeah, I do. We was together 14 years, long time. Yeah.
In Glasgow, men living in the poorest part have a life expectancy of 54. In India, 3/4 of the population live on $2 a day or less. No one in Glasgow lives on $2 a day or less. And yet men in the poorest part of Glasgow have life expectancy that's 8 years shorter than the average in India. And I thought, aha, that's it. That's going to explain it. Being relatively disadvantaged has profound consequences which determine high rates of suicide, violent deaths, alcohol, heart disease.
So this is where I had my first drink outdoors. It was a Friday night. We came down, what was it? It was a bottle of Old Westminster. And it's funny because I ended up developing a bit of a taste for a certain brand of fortified wine. But I remember just thinking, this is disgusting. Why would anybody want to do this? I wish I could become addicted to going to the gym. You know, like... I've become addicted to fruit. I'm addicted to fruit. You know, like phoning my sponsor. Ah man, I went mad on the bananas earlier on. My potassium's out off the chain. Alcohol gave me what I thought was confidence. So it's that core belief that you're worth something that I'm missing. It's a painkiller for your spirit, really.
I feel very anxious all the time. And the nervousness is just, even the customers say I don't smile anymore. For example, a man yesterday, he told me, he said, you look like you need to calm down. And I'm like, I can't, you know? He was like, you're gonna have a heart attack. And I'm like, I know.
You got to help me. I can't do it all by myself.
I used to work and I would leave and I would go jogging at the gym and all this kind of stuff and everything, and I got to where instead I would rather come home and sit down and eat instead, you know? I was walking out and I was like, man, it's been rough because we were so short-handed. I was like, I'm gonna just go sit in my vehicle and eat some chips till I calm down, you know? But, you know, that's the wrong things to do.
If you take an economics course, you're taught that markets are based on informed consumers making rational judgments. Suppose you turn on the television set and take a look at the ads. I mean, are they trying to create informed consumers making rational choices? On the contrary, they're trying to create uninformed consumers who will act irrationally. And it's a huge industry, one of the biggest industries in the country.
Texas double whopper. Eat like a man, man.
People around here are kind of big.
Healthy.
Yeah, healthy. That's what I like to say. Pleasantly plump.
Feel like this, some folk feel like that, but the way I'm built, don't you call me fat because I'm built for comfort. For speed.
Oh, I can't wait until Thanksgiving just seeing that turkey. Because I got a ham and a turkey in there. Yep. But if you're really full, don't worry about it. Go on and...
Are you tired?
Yes, I am. After I had my daughter, I had congestive heart failure. And I actually literally died. And it took me 2 weeks to come out of the coma. I'm just lucky that my heart still is beating long enough to do what it needs to do.
When did you start getting the high blood pressure?
In 2004.
Can y'all shut up? Shut up! And shut the door! Shut all the noise up. Everything need to be shut. Everybody need to be sitting down and being quiet. Period. Okay, back to me.
It just makes me sleep easy at night, knowing if I'm home by myself with my kids, that there's somebody watching over us.
We had 116 homicides last year. 3 times the number of people that are in this church.
Police and community are trying to address an epidemic of violent crime, much of it rooted in drugs.
Street sweeper shotgun. 12 12-gauge rounds in this drum magazine. No sights, because it's not designed to need any sights.
Hi, honey. Yeah, this is our gotcha paper for all the criminals in the neighborhood. So On page for page, it tell you who been arrested and what they done did. And sometimes I be looking in here for my son's little friends because I don't want none of them to be having no fugitive while I'm in there cooking. That's just from people stressing out because the economy is so jacked up over here. And that's why we end up with situations like these people for different felonious assaults and because they mad and frustrated, can't get a job, or breaking and entering and trying to get in people's houses, or pure rage against another person, wanting what somebody else has.
Psychologists and sociologists who've worked with violent criminals consistently say that lack of respect is the trigger for acts of violence and aggression. All that's left of people is the maintenance of their self-respect, and so if that's threatened in some way, then you see these violent and aggressive reactions.
Police in Baker say 2 teenage boys and a 15-year-old girl died in a gunfight at a birthday party at a privately owned club. This is not unusual. They've had a lot of people killed in this little town in the past few years. High school students killing each other, and it's you never know when you're going to be robbed. And I would love to walk to work or ride a bike to work, because it's only like 2 miles down the road. But I'm too scared to ride a bike or walk home at midnight. I always worry about walking out of that parking lot, always. So with half the lights out right now, it's a very dangerous place.
Violent crime and the fear it promotes are crippling our society, limiting personal freedom, and fraying the ties that bind us. Now, those who commit repeated violent crimes should be told, when you commit a third violent crime, you will be put away and put away for good. 3 strikes and you are out.
I get caught with a gram of dope, 1.5 grams, okay? And I wasn't hurting anybody but myself. I wasn't selling it, I didn't give it to kids or anything like that. And I go to court. They wasn't trying to hear anything. They used that 3 strikes law against me. And they gave me a 25-year sentence.
I've been in a box, just a little bit bigger than this, for the last 17 years.
And to be locked up and treated as I've been treated here, there's not a man alive that wouldn't feel the same way that I do now.
They've created a ball of hate in me.
Yeah, I'm in the penitentiary. But you know something? I've never been caught with anything.
I got to get butt naked in front of females and these officers, and I got to bend over and show them my asshole. Yeah, humiliating it, it's beyond that.
I had all of my mouth. I had those kicked out on the Robertson unit. I was beaten almost to death. They broke 8 ribs. They dislocated my arms, my legs. They broke my jaw. They kicked out my grill. They broke my ocular bone, my nose. But you know something? The first time that I did get my head ripped off, 3 days later, it didn't hurt as bad. And then I became a monster.
I hate people. And do you know how sad that is to say?
I've been treated so bad back here that yes, I could actually now, I could kill a man. I really could. I could kill one of these laws. And that's sad. That's sad because I was raised better than that.
And what am I going to do now, Miss Round? When I get out, what am I going to do? Get me a job at McDonald's? I'll be 54 years old. Came down when I was 26. I was in college. I was taking a VOTEC. What am I going to do now?
Because what you were before you come to the penitentiary is not what you're going to be when you are released.
This is a country that began with the language of liberty, and yet we have more people in prison per capita than anybody in the world. There's no doubt that being rich makes it much less likely that you'll be incarcerated, even if you've done something terrible.
It's got a badge on it. 4 ounces of solid silver and 2.2 carats of diamonds.
This is the richest year ever in human history.
There's a religion that says everyone will benefit. It has almost nothing to do with the real world. So it completely fails in the real world. Fails is the wrong word. It's not a failure for the fraction of 1% of the population that's accumulating wealth, beyond the dreams of avarice.
From humble beginnings in small-town Arkansas to the world's leading retailer, Walmart has come a long way since 1962. No one, except for maybe Sam, who never lost sight of his original idea, could have predicted the company's remarkable growth.
Walmart's an interesting case because Walmart has produced a large number of hereditary billionaires. And they are, no doubt, highly respected in the communities in which they live, and no doubt they do respectable things. They fund museums and they give money to hospitals, and I'm sure they do all that stuff. And yet, in many communities, people who work at Walmart are getting a wage, but also getting food stamps. So they're basically, the public is paying for Walmart's labor.
For fiscal year ending 2012, Walmart had gross sales of like $446 billion, and then the net sales were $16.7, but almost $17 billion net profit. I have no problem with a company making a profit. Like I said, I had my own business. But when you're making a profit at the expense of the people who are doing the work and they're on food stamps, it's a moral issue. If you're making the decision, all right, we're going to cut hours so we can keep profit up, you know what you're doing.
One of the necessary illusions for the general public is that we live in a capitalist economy. But the rich don't believe that for a minute. They insist on a powerful state to protect them from market discipline. So if Goldman Sachs makes a risky transaction, they're basically protected. If it crashes, they can run to the nanny state with their cap in hand and get bailed out.
Good morning. This is a pivotal moment for America's economy. Problems that originated in the credit markets and first showed up in the area of subprime mortgages have spread throughout our financial system.
It's been a dismal week on Wall Street. In the last 5 trading days, the Dow Jones has lost 1,400 points alone. Yesterday, the Dow closed down 500. Investors agree that this is a crucial week to see whether or not the government can step in and heal this economy.
I'm a strong believer in free enterprise. Under normal circumstances, I believe companies that make bad decisions should be allowed to go out of business. But these are not normal circumstances.
This is a pain that will stay with me for the rest of my life.
But you get to keep $480 million. I have a very basic question for you. Is this fair?
The spectacle of these bankers who have contributed hugely to bringing the Western economies to their knees, and yet are still going on paying themselves money beyond the dreams of avarice in most people's eyes, and they really think they're worth it. And sometimes I meet them socially, and they say, Max, when will you understand? This is how capitalism works. I say, this is not how capitalism works. This is how capitalism goes hopelessly, disastrously wrong.
We should not bail out those who made the reckless decision to buy a home they knew they could never afford.
That word came up a lot. Oh, greedy homeowners. This is just about poor people who bought TVs on their second mortgages and it's their fault and they were greedy. That's the mentality. Blame the victim.
I kept using my credit cards to live, and then I finally got those where I was maxed out, and I'm at the end and fixing to be moving. I've got to go very soon, within the next few weeks. You know, I mean, you know, this is it. You know.
No challenge is more urgent. No debate is more important. We can either settle for a country where a shrinking number of people do really well, while a growing number of Americans barely get by. Or we can restore an economy where everyone gets a fair shot, and everyone does their fair share, and everyone plays by the same set of rules.
It's not the case that inequality is attributable to bad apples, but rather that the barrel is bad. The barrel is what's contaminating the apples. It's the institutions that prioritize getting ahead above all else, that it's okay to break the law if that means that you're going to make more profits for the company.
What I object to is the feeling that there's some mechanism out there about which you can do nothing at all. That's simply not true. If humans want to change this, they can change it.
We demand a raise! We demand a raise! What do we want? Justice! What do we want?
My name is Leah Taylor, and I'm here today to have a voice for my fellow workers and everybody that's struggling in the fast food industry.
Rochelle Monty, what would you like to say to the boss of Allied Health for whom you work?
I don't blame any one particular company. The truth is, unless the government actually acknowledge the importance of the home care sector within this country, people are going to continue to be failed. These problems are deep-rooted within the system, and it's the system that needs to change.
My name is Janet Sparks, and I am a Walmart associate at store number 1102. When I think about the fact that our CEO, Mike Duke, made over $20 million last year, more than 1,000 times the average Walmart associate, with all due respect, I have to say, I don't think that's right.
I wish we'd never got into this state. I wish we'd never had these extraordinary high rewards. No, I wish it I wish it had never happened. And to very little social good, actually.
I think, you sort of always have it maybe in the back of your mind that you're not a part of something good. But I didn't have a clear sense of I am doing something actively harmful. And then when the financial crisis hit, I started to feel really uncomfortable. And I asked my boss, will the public ever forgive us for this? And meaning the bailout. And he basically said to me, well, here's the thing. The public always forgets. The public forgot after the savings and loan crisis. The public forgot after long-term capital management blew up. The public always forgets, and the public will forget again, and we will, move on, and it'll go back to normal. So don't worry about it.
I've been sober for coming up for 11 months. That's the longest I've ever been away from a drink. And I've learned my margin for error is very small. I mean, if I pick up a drink, I'm right back to square one.
You got to help me. I can't do it all by myself. You got to help me, baby.
There's a push to have a secondary gate to keep these 10 to 20 homes completely separate from the rest of the homes that are already completely separate. I think it's a status thing more than a fear thing. There's already a guy at the gate, half of them with a gun.
But you help me, baby. You know, if you don't help me, darling.
And to be honest, I'd rather live in Florida. One of my next motivating factors is going to be the fact that I do want to eventually move to Florida and have a second home there.
I won't have any regrets. I might be living under a bridge next week, you know, but at least I tried.
If I could be a millionaire or anything like that and buy one big house that got about 50 bedrooms, you know, and have all my family with me, you know, I would love that. I would love that.
If you don't help me, darling, I'll have to find myself somebody.
I wish I didn't have to work so much. I wish I could see the kids a bit more. I wish Pietro and I could go out for dinner at night. I don't want much out of life. I just wish it was a bit easier. Hi.
Most likely I'll end up back here. But it won't be because I'd walked into a school and shot up a whole bunch of children or raped somebody or anything like that. It'll be because I probably got caught stealing a loaf of bread and get a life sentence for it.
Darling, I know where you're sleeping, but I just feel like lying down. Oh, yeah.